Hi, welcome everybody. We're so grateful and so happy that you are joining us for this Enlightened partnership. It's being held on February 22nd, 2-22, which is the partnership number. And it's been a passion of mine to lead this celebration of couples who are exploring the edge of consciousness. So you're going to see an incredible conversation take place today. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
I enter this moment, I focus my will, I open my consciousness, breathing, I am still, breathing, I am still. I dedicate this body, I dedicate this place, a vessel for holiness, surrender to grace, I surrender to grace. Forgiving the past, relinquish the future. I choose this moment. I choose love. I choose love. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. I enter this moment, I focus my will, I open my consciousness, breathing, I am still, breathing, I am still. I dedicate this body, I dedicate this place, a vessel for holiness, surrender to grace, I surrender in grace. Forgiving the past, relinquish the future, I choose this moment, I choose love, I choose love. I choose love, I choose love, I choose love, I choose love.
Welcome, everyone. So happy that you're all here with us. We've got a great group of people who are going to lead us in a deep dive of sharing their vulnerabilities and engaging in a deeper organic conversation. So I just wanted to share with you, before we get started, the concepts and the ideas and how this all came about. That has been such a passion of mine, to live in a world living in love and being surrounded by a community of conscious people who are making the the best efforts, intentions to become more conscious. We have with us tonight Dan Morris, who's a marriage and family therapist, and Diana Kelly, who is a practitioner of the Sophia and a healer. And they are working together, launching their sacred partnership, and couple of counseling. And they'll tell you a little bit more about that at some point in our evening. And we also have Scott Katamas, who's with the Global Peace Tribe. Scott has been a dear friend for years and years and years, and has been on the journey of compassionate communication, teaching and training workshops, working with over 1,000 couples. And now he has a new beloved in his life, who's a very powerful meditation teacher, Deborah Juliet. She speaks over 6 languages, and she's raised in a home. I mean, she's been raised in a home by trilingual parents. And she has been working with the community up in Ashland. And this is a, a very conscious, intentional community that's purpose is to help to uplift the vibration and frequency of our planet. And then we have Heather and Donnie Regal. Heather and Donnie are dear friends of ours, and they met and brought their relationship together, for the purpose of healing. They have a retreat center on Maui, and the Black Swan Temple, and they do work together, helping to rejuvenate people. But if you fly to Maui and stay at the retreat, you'll be fed delicious, nurturing foods. You'll have incredible yoga experiences and music as medicine. So they're going to give us some of our medicine in this talk today, that I'm going to be sharing with you. And then we're all going to join together in a deeper conversation. So you'll enjoy the way that we have formed community, the way, because really it's like being in community is half the battle. It's like that supports the enlightened conscious relationship. It's so important to be in community. And it was really interesting. I was being reminded of this when IONS did a research study one time, and one of the things that they were looking at was this notion or idea of the top most conscious evolved spiritual teachers on the planet. Do they have anything in common that they share? Because they're from all cultures, all walks of life. I mean, these are the Dalai Lamas of the world. And so they sent out a, a computer list of computer questions that they could answer, and then they fed it into the computer to see what correlated, what was the same for all of them, and how were they different, and how were their paths different. And the most interesting thing was, there was a question that said, if you didn't have your disciples, how long would you be able to hang onto this state of consciousness that you have achieved at this point that makes you a world spiritual leader? And they all answered in the same way. They said we would lose it in a week or two. So there's really a truth behind that, because we mirror for each other. The love and the devotion and the dedication of, I've learned how to see you as divine. You've learned how to see me as divine. And being in community, sharing that kind of divine nature, that divine healing, is what works. So we're more concerned in this enlightened conversation about what happens above the line, not what happens below the line and the level, the 3D level, like who do you sleep with, who do you eat with, who do you live with, all that kind of stuff. That's one thing. But this is a much higher level. So let me introduce myself, and let me give you the talk that I prepared to kind of lay the foundation of what the deeper conversation that we will have will be about. So hold on. So the story begins with a workshop that I was attending with Barbara Marx Hubbard. Barbara is the author of Conscious Evolution and was actually, she even ran for vice president back in the 70s. She was quite a extraordinary woman. And at this workshop, I asked her a question about what she thought was needed to be able to have conscious, evolved, enlightened relationships. And she said to me, "Oh my God," she goes, "I don't know." She goes, "I'm struggling with that myself." So she says, "I think what has to happen is we need to gather together those of us who are actually exploring the edges of consciousness and how to be conscious in our relationships and find out how's it going? What are we doing? What's happening?" And then in that joining and in that collaboration, we will come to a greater understanding from our shared knowledge, our shared information, our shared experience. So I love that idea. And I thought, oh my God, I want to do that. So I've been doing it for 14 years now, gathering couples together on the February 22nd to be able to discuss what is an enlightened partnership and how we get there. But first, let's define it. Okay. So when we look at the different dictionary definition of having or showing a rational, modern, and well-informed outlook. So what that means is the more enlightened employers offer better terms, the more enlightened couples have a better marriage, right? Interestingly, the example they give is the age of enlightened was also known as the age of reason. So it's more reasonable to be enlightened, and it's also defined as spiritually aware, of course. So the one who is enlightened, what is this like? Is someone who's free from false beliefs, right? Or the illusions of the separated, disconnected self. Like, for example, Scott Thomas's work is involved in compassionate communication, how to make a connection with someone. And when people are feeling disconnected, how do they connect heart to heart? And so this is so important to learn these skills. So this freeing from false belief that I'm not worthy of love, I'm not worthy and deserving. And so those beliefs that block the presence of love, that don't allow us to come into a greater love, those beliefs are what makes it difficult for people to be in an enlightened partnership, because they're operating and they're building their relationship basically on false beliefs. The other thing about it is has a type of education knowledge acquired by learning and instruction. Every person that's you're going to see in this organic conversation that will happen tonight are people who are teaching what they wanted to learn and wanted to know. And that is, there is a learning that happens. There is an instruction. There are tips. There are tools that people can use that make their relationship so much better. So this is really important so that we can grow in our understanding of what is our true nature, because being enlightened means that you're illuminated to the truth of who you are. You are the peace and the love of God, but you may not always feel that, and you may not always feel connected to that. You may not always be sourcing that kind of understanding because the past inhibits your ability to come forward in a more dynamic and honest way of revealing the truth of who you are, that you are peace, you are love. And so we're all growing in our understanding and our capacity to be able to do this together. So I'm going to be talking about basically two texts that really speak to what is possible that I am a teacher of: the Gospel of Mary Magdalene and A Course in Miracles, which I've been involved in teaching and in circles and whatnot for since the late 90s, early 2000s. And I'm going to start with Marianne Williamson's very famous quote, which I'm sure most of all of you know, because it, in a nutshell, captivated all of us in such a way because she succinctly pinpointed the actual issues that are going on between being in an enlightened relationship and not. So it says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Actually, our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. See, to be small and in the shadow and whatnot is that's a comfort zone for many people. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? But yet we are the ones who love the brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous people. We will celebrate them. But to ask ourselves to be that, that's another story. But actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. And your playing small does not serve the world. And what you're going to see, hopefully, in this conversation that we're going to have tonight, is you're going to see people who have decided not to place, that are trying their best to join together in love, heart to heart connected, so that they can be a healing force, so they can create love in the world, so that they can help elevate rather than shrinking and playing small and not being a part of. So there is actually nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. It's really important to let our light shine. We are all meant to shine as children do. And this is my granddaughter. And you can see she's pure joy because at this point she had not forgotten who she is. So she was very much in touch with her true nature. So let's preserve it, and may it be so that she continues to grow and expand into her true nature. For it's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same, which is a really important reason why you have to allow and accept that it's okay for you to shine, because you're giving the message through your demonstration that other people have the right to do that as well. So as we liberate our own fears, our presence automatically liberates others. And this is so true. And this is what we were being liberated. But what are we being liberated from? We're being liberated from this limited belief structure, this egoic presence of dumbing down and holding back and not giving the love that we need. So the Gospel of Mary Magdalene revealed a living demonstration of an enlightened partnership over 2,000 years ago. But unfortunately, we really missed out on getting the nuances and understanding how they were able to become enlightened partnerships, in an enlightened partnership with each other. And that's what I teach in the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. You can go to my website at gospelofmarymagdalene.info and sign up to take my courses. One of the first concepts about enlightened partnership is an enlightened partnership is not special, because we're so conditioned to, I want my special love, whereas I'm half until I find my other half. We've been so conditioned to that we're not whole, that we have to go seek someone and then we become whole once we partner. And of course, that's not the truth about an enlightened partnership. An enlightened partnership, it is whole because you are whole and he is whole. And because she realized her wholeness and she joined with him and they both felt whole, that was the power in their relationship. Their relationship became very powerful. So one way to look at it is this. I love this chart because it talks about the above the line thinking and the below the line thinking. So when we're above the line, we're in acceptance. We understand that we cause our reality by how we respond versus how we react. If we're reacting and we're in judgment and we're feeling like a victim, we're below the line and everything becomes a problem. And we feel like we're at the effect of things. And so we want to blame somebody. We feel like there's a failure and a scarcity and a vagueness. And the excuses, we're living in fear. But if we understand that fear is a choice and that we can choose, once again, as the Course says, we can choose love instead of fear. And when we choose love, then we're interested in looking for the solutions. We're actually thinking about what kind of action can we take that will bring a real solution, and we're open to getting feedback, and we look for clarity, and then our world becomes more abundant. So what we've learned is that enlightened partners live above the line. And you're going to see that articulated in the couples who are on tonight's show, that these people are choosing to live above the line. They're choosing to honor themselves and to be a choice, to choose love rather than fear. And when they are in fear, they recognize that they get above the line right away. They don't stay there and wallow in it because they know that they're a cause and they can change the reality if they choose to. So that's they are always making these above the line choices, and they're conscious of it and they're aware of it, and they don't tolerate much of the below the line stuff. But unfortunately, many people stay below the line. You can ask any therapist, they are trying to help people with their problems, and they're so judgmental, and people are reacting and they're blaming each other, and there's all kinds of difficulties, and they're very stuck and fear driven and lots of excuses, and so everything becomes reactionary, and then that sparks more fighting and whatnot. So it's a big mess. It's much better to look at, well, how do I get above the line? And of course, the way we get above the line is by getting support that we need, and by learning, like this definition that said you have to have instruction, you have to be willing to learn, you have to be open-minded, and then you will learn. So in the Gospel of Mary Magdalene on enlightened partnerships, one of the things that it's designed to do is to awaken us, to free ourselves from this dualism that we're stuck in: good, bad, right, wrong. You're bad, I'm good, you're bad. And then it switches later, he's bad and you're, so everybody goes back and forth in their dualism of the world. And so we want to become free of that. So in an enlightened partnership, an individual enters into what the Gospel of Mary Magdalene talks about: the anthropos state of mind. The anthropos state of mind is a state of higher consciousness. That is a state of mind where you understand and know that you are whole. So she understood, she was able to achieve that. And that's why she's so powerful. People think, well, maybe she and Jesus had sex, and that's what makes her such a salacious, um, you know, newsworthy item and whatnot. But really, it's more that she was enlightened and that she understood that she was whole, that she was one with God. And because she had achieved that at a conscious, very high level, she was able to join with him. And then they became very powerful because of the way that they interacted. It's what the Course in Miracles calls a holy encounter that creates a holy instant of love. So I love this painting because this painting shows Magdalene and Jesus almost at equal levels. Most of the paintings that you'll see, she's groveling on the ground and he's looking up, he's looking down on her and she's like looking up at him and whatnot. But this one, they're kind of like looking at each other as equals. He's recognizing her as her beautiful goddess divine self. And she's looking at him and she's recognizing the truth of who he is. And then she anoints him and makes him the Christos, right? So this relationship of the two divine people knowing who they are, coming together and joining, is sparks a holy instant of love. So a holy relationship derives love from source, not from the other person. I'm not looking to get what can I get from you, but they are deriving their love from source, from the Buddha nature, from the God nature, from the whatever God is to you. And then they share that love. The sharing of that love is so important, where we share that love with all. That love is not just for my special partner. You'll see couples who've really had a mastery of that level. When they're in the room, they're loving everyone because they recognize that when you extend love, there's no loss. There's always more love that will flow through you. So you can love people and bless them and heal them and give of yourself in a very loving and peaceful way. You share that love with all because you are the all. You are part of the all, and they are the all. And it's what the Course talks about, seeing with the eyes of Christ. It's like seeing with that Christ consciousness, or the Buddha nature in yourself. So I've asked Donnie and Heather to do a beautiful heart-centered meditation to help us to embody the energy of that love within us. And so they are going to do this meditation for us now. Thank you so much.
Aloha, everyone.
Aloha, and thank you, Christy. We really appreciate being on your show.
Yes, what a beautiful show. I'm Heather, and
I'm Donnie.
we are a married couple. We've been together for 13 years.
Exactly.
And we co-founded the Black Swan Temple and Mystical Alchemy sound healing and retreats.
We live on Maui, and we have a retreat center here, and we do yoga retreats, and we're also both ministers of the Temple of Isis. So we share a lot of inspiration and support for our community as well as each other.
That's right. So I guess one of the questions was, what is our vision and what are our values that we have together? So our relationship, it's been a romantic and business partnership over these past 13 years that has grown, and we love being able to co-create together.
I like to say it's been a romantic relationship that we also do business together.
Yes, and we love it.
We love it. And we love working together. We're actually together a lot. I mean, practically 24/7. We live in a small, in a one-bedroom room that we have as our temple, and we really just are always together.
Yeah, we're always together, but we're not doing the same things, right?
Oh, sometimes
Pretty much.
she's like a millennial. She's awesome at all the little technical details, and of course, when it comes to recording music or video, that's my forte.
Right. So Christy asked us, what is our vision? And I think someone had once coined the term for us that we are soul travelers raising consciousness. And we do that in a variety of ways.
Indeed, we are passionate about our sound healing, our new moon ceremonies, our full moon ceremonies, and how we can bring people here and inspire them to get out of their own way and really find their true soul purpose, so they can be support of the universe here, or support of humanity in their own individual ways that makes the world a better place.
Yeah, I think our spiritual path is a beautiful marriage of the Essene Sevenfold Path of Peace meets the work of the priestess, the goddess of Isis, who's the goddess of mystery and magic, and Hathor, music, beauty, dance, and the Essene. So the Essene is kind of like the masculine part. I'm an ordained Essene minister, and through our mystery school, we teach these foundational teachings of the Sevenfold Path of Peace, which is creating peace with the body, peace with the mind, peace with your beloved, peace with your relations, peace with the earth. We have a farm here, peace with the universe, and peace with your sacred, the way you serve in the world.
And being part of the divine feminine and divine masculine, that unity between us that really brings a balance. I don't claim to have any more control than my partner does. She doesn't have any more control than we share it responsibly together in equanimity to really bring balance that is a reflection for the whole community.
Yeah, I'd say we're quite complementary. I think Donnie and I have a little bit of a advantage in that I just ran our human design, and according to human design, we're 93.7% compatible, and we're actually born 9 months to the day exactly apart, both on the 29th of a month, which is
because when I was born, I called out to the higher spirit and I said, where's my soulmate? And of course, Goddess said, we're on it.
And here I am. And our mothers were even born like Christmas babies, born just a couple of days apart, different years. But so yeah, there's a lot of karma here. We've been together.
A lot of past lives.
A lot of past lives. And we're here continuing our work, and we each really bring our gifts. Donnie is a phenomenal musician and music producer, and he's a great coach. He loves to coach and does nonviolent communication and spiritual life coaching. So he's amazing at really supporting and uplifting people, empowering people,
inspiring people to bring out the good inside of themselves, because we were all such incredible beings here for an incredible purpose. But you got to own it. You got to find what it is, and then really put your belief into it, because you got to believe it to receive it. You know, from my perception, we are all gods and goddesses, and the more that we can own that, the more that we pull in the power of the universe and are able to spread that as part of the solution on this global planet that we live on, where it really needs us all to be inspired. It needs us all to be really being part of the solution, and more importantly, it needs us all to really find our purpose.
Right. And I bring some of the mystery and the magic of the goddess, and through food, through music, through sound healing, through ritual, through marketing, through visioning and kind of organizing, management, and kind of things.
Yay.
Wouldn't you say?
She is awesome, let me tell you.
So with that, we've been asked to do a
Heart chakra.
A heart chakra, heart centering. And so this is a beautiful example of our work that we've co-created together. The music that you're going to hear is a co-creation of both of us, and I'm going to guide the journey. Okay, here we go. We're going to this activation for the heart chakra. So I invite you to start by lowering your eyes and turning your awareness within, and perhaps placing your left hand on your chest. Left hand and beginning to follow your breath as it goes in and out. Just take a moment here. Relaxing into your exhale. Following your breath as it goes in and out. Relaxing into your exhale. Softening your face, your jaw, your shoulders. And deepening your breath into the area of your heart, the area of your chest. Noticing what's alive, what's present for you in this moment. As we begin to enliven the heart chakra. So the heart chakra is associated with the colors emerald green and pink. I like to envision beautiful emerald green colors with pink filaments shimmering through, pink and gold. When our heart chakras are open, we're open to receiving love in a balanced way. We're open to receiving divine love. We are compassionate and empathetic. We are able to experience a sense of interconnection with all beings, understanding and feeling and knowing in your heart that we are all interconnected and interrelated. And we can experience a sense of harmony and deep inner peace and contentment. and healing and forgiving energies, being in forgiveness and restoring to a state of balance. Taking nice connected breaths in and out through your heart center, perhaps through the mouth, in and out, just noticing what's alive there, and perhaps gently arching and flexing your spine, giving a little movement. The sound current associated with the heart chakra is it could be vocal or subvocal. Hey. So just releasing anything that's ready to be released from your heart chakras, any blockages, any hurt or woundings or ways you've contracted or armor we've put up. Imbalances with the heart chakra might show up as issues with the heart itself, with the circulatory system, with the lungs, the arms, the hands, or paranoia, being possessive of others, emotional instability, or that paranoia, being overly tense, critical, closed in the heart. So we want to nourish and open our heart with beautiful, loving, and healing thoughts and movements. So I'm just going to invite you to bring your hands to your shoulders, and like with beautiful wings, begin to fan open your heart chakra. As we bring in warm, loving thoughts into the heart. Connecting with the sense of joy, of gratitude, of appreciation. Good. What brings a smile to your heart on this day? What are you grateful for? What do you love? It could be the smell of a flower, the scent of a baby, or walking on the beach, or being in a forest. Good. And now just giving yourself nice gentle movements as we open through the chest, through the heart, and we're going to make our way up to standing now and dance it out, dancing, inviting in our joy and our love. Here we go. Reflect on something that you're grateful for about the present moment. Something in your present life that brings a smile to your heart. And how about something you're grateful for about the future? Calling it in, for we are calling in our future. And allow those feelings of gratitude, of joy, of appreciation to rise within you like a beautiful warm smile. Beautiful warm light. Let's let this warm light expand. Little inner smile expand, filling all parts of you, all of your cells with light, joy. Smiling into all of your cells, your entire being. Sending yourself so much love and appreciation. What do you appreciate about yourself? Can you send this love to any part of you that is calling for more understanding, more compassion, more empathy, more healing? Being your own healer, your own cheerleader. Sending love to your inner child, perhaps your wise elder, the artist, the mystic, the lover, the beloved. Compassion and understanding. Filling yourself. This beautiful emerald green and pink light. Shimmering through. Gold. dance, that love, that sense of joy. Your arms and your hands are extension of your heart chakra. So allowing expression all the way through. To your hands, to your arms, to your sound. Any other sound you feel like making. Now, as you feel good and full, let's extend this love out. Who would you like to share some of this love with today? Send it out as you're reaching them, touching them, supporting and uplifting. And perhaps extending it out to someone you might be having challenges with. Send it to them. Honor them. Say it's all love or a call for love. Dear friend Bantuzi. Love that quote. All love or a call for love. You're all moving towards love, moving, growing. Let's send this to various parts of the world. Places of war, places of strife, places of oppression, places of fear and contraction. Send it up. Let your love be a blessing, transmuting and healing. Where would you send it to in this moment? Feel it reaching. Bring love to places of fear, joy, places of attraction, understanding, compassion, empathy.
I am loved, loving, lovable, and lovable.
Send it down to the earth. Mama Gaia,
I am forgiving. I am harmonious. I am peaceful.
be a blessing, healing for the earth.
I am content.
I invite you to envision
I give and receive
beautiful emerald green roses or lotus flowers blossoming in your heart.
I am
Bringing
open
in
to
the energy of
receiving
abundance.
love
For
and
when
bounty from the universe.
we are green, we are growing.
I am open to
Look at
receiving
nature all around you. Try to count the leaves on a tree, the blades of grass on your lawn.
I
So
am
much abundance,
compassionate.
this energy of green.
I am empathetic.
And do the mudra. Touch together your thumb and forefinger of each hand.
I am compassionate.
And place your right thumb and forefinger right on your heart chakra.
I am forgiving.
Dance your love. Another mudra. Hands together. Beautiful lotus flowers. Embody the energy of love.
My heart is full of love and joy.
Feel to make your way back to seated. Let's do that.
I am grateful. I am open to receiving unlimited gifts of the universe. I am open to love and kindness. I am love.
Resting your hands on your heart chakra. I am love, I am loving, I am lovable, I am loved.
I deeply love and accept myself.
I deeply love and accept myself. With that, we invite you to release your hands and open your eyes, and we hope that you enjoyed that journey into the heart chakra. You can connect with us at the Black Swan Temple here in Maui, Hawaii.
Definitely come visit us.
Where we offer retreats, and we also offer sacred pilgrimages to ancient Egypt, and have another one coming up this October 29th to November 15th. Very special, spectacular 15-day pilgrimage during the sacred time of Samhain. So thank you so much for having us. Peace and blessings and much love to all of you.
Aloha.
Aloha.
God bless.
Thank you so much, Heather and Donnie. That was so beautiful. And I really appreciated the fact that your relationship has turned out to be this kind of offering of love and connecting at love. And you hold such a high consciousness and a higher vibration. So I'm very grateful to you for coming on and doing this. Blessed be. And so let's get back. I'm going to finish my talk here. So enlightened partnership has to do with an elevated state of consciousness that involves holiness. And when I was in the question, I randomly caught this sentence in the Course in Miracles that caught my eye that said, all separation vanishes as holiness is shared. And of course, feeling separate, feeling disconnected, that's what this whole thing about you're in a partnership or you meet somebody and you're feeling separate and disconnected, and then you connect. And it's so fun. You fall in love and all this great, juicy stuff. And you get to have a fling with what they call the honeymoon period, right? And then the work begins about really because you get triggered and things weren't quite what they seem to be, and you have to sort it out and whatnot. So this sentence is really important because it's understanding that all separation vanishes as holiness is shared. For holiness is power. And by sharing it, it gains in strength. So when two people can come together for what is called in the Course in Miracles a holy instant, they will actually experience more power. But it's not power over or power of domination and control or anything. It's a power that comes from source. So it's the real, true, authentic power that we come to know and love, that when we're following the will of God and we have that coming through us, it's so much better. Yet you can be in an intimate relationship with one person or not. I mean, the question about whether you live together, whether you have sex, or who you're having sex with, and who's this partner having to do, that's all at the level of 3D. It's like at the material level, the earthbound level. And what we're talking about is a higher consciousness, a more holy relationship. So it can involve sex or not. It can be incredibly intimate and have no sex, and or it can have sex and be what they call a heteroscamos. So let's explore this a little bit more. In the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, we're talking about a fully human anthropos person. What does this actually mean? It's kind of like if you look at an acorn seed, you know that an acorn seed doesn't grow to be a banana tree. It because it's a blueprint and it grows into the truth of what it is. And the truth of what it is it's a magnificent oak tree, right? So that's the same with us. We are divine. We may be at the seed stage of our divine awareness of who we are, but we're going to grow into it. So we may not be in a not yet state, not yet knowing that we're divine, but we are both already, because we're already divine. We're already love. We're already peace. It's already in us. We can't become what we're not. We have to become what we are. And what are we? We are love. We are peace. We are joy. We are the expression of God. So we are going to grow into it, but maybe not yet. So it's just our choice of how fast we grow and how do we expand into our consciousness, into our divine state. So how do we do this is that we're stop identifying with the illusion that we're separate, because we really think I experience myself as a separate body. I have a separate house. I have a separate bank account. I have all this stuff that I actually like my separate bed, things like this. But when we come into a willingness to stop identifying with illusion, we can call in all the parts of ourselves that are fragmented out there. So the masculine person who's all masculine and no, I don't do any, he could call in and allow for the integration of his feminine self, his softness, his gentleness, his kindness, his compassion. A compassionate man is incredible. The same is true on the other side, which is on the other side, it is the feminine who calls in the parts of her masculine that she needs. She integrates herself so that she can be strong when she needs to be strong. She can set boundaries. She can protect herself. She can have all of this is available to her as well. So she becomes fully integrated as her divine self. And and then in her divine nature, um, she's able to know herself as whole. And this becoming whole is what we understand as becoming as one. We come into the oneness of who we are. Unfortunately, we've been conditioned so heavily, especially as little children, that you have to go out there into the world and find your true love. So you're going to look for your true love, right? And if you don't find your true love, it's sad because you experience yourself as being half until you find your other half, and then you can feel whole. Then you can come together and be the marriage that, let no man put asunder, break these two apart. But you're still feeling half with another half, and so you could easily butt heads. But in the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, we learned that she knew she was one with God. She had the journey that achieved an enlightened state that gave her the insight that she knows who she is. And she went to Jesus and she said, I had a vision. And she had a vision that she was one with God. And he looked at her and he goes, oh my God, it's so true, because she wasn't faking it. She actually knew it. So this allowed them to be the demonstration as they connected and joined of sacred union, each claiming, I am the love of God. I am one with God. Jesus said, the Father within does the work, right? So we find true love by going within. And when we get connected to the love that we are in ourselves, remove all the blocks and the barriers to it, which is what the Course in Miracles helps with the lessons. It helps us to eliminate our blocks and barriers so that we can know that we are divine, that we are love. And then that love is shared, not sought. So she didn't go to Jesus and try to get love from him, and he didn't try to get love from her. It was more that he knew that he was running the energy of the love of God through him. The Father within does the work. And she knew she was running the love through her. So then they started to share that. And that's where that strengthening comes from. So when holiness is shared, then in the sharing, it gains in strength, and they became stronger and stronger and stronger. So that's what's exciting about the couples on this program that will be on a deeper conversation with it in a little bit. They are all sharing that kind of love. They are all exploring what does that mean to be, and how can we achieve that. And they live in communities where they're supported in that growth. So this joining in oneness, part of another reason why it's so powerful is because it means that you're experiencing each other as equal. The equality was essential. Jesus appeared to Mary Magdalene at the resurrection to help raise the status of women and get women into an equal position with men. And he's recognized Magdalene as his equal. And by honoring that and joining with her, we are both the one life. In other words, Jesus has the life of God in him that allows it. We aren't alive without the breath of God in us, right? So this life force that runs through us as us is what makes us a part of God. And she has the same thing. She has life in her. You can see I'm alive, right? And the life that I am is no different than any man on this call. We are equal in that life. We are the one life. And that's a critical thing about understanding the equality. And that also is what causes the gaining in strength. So anyway, thank you so much for letting me share. I really appreciate it. And now we're going to go into a glorious and wonderful conversation with our fellow beloved couples that are going to talk about what it's been like for them. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Diana Kelly and Dan Morse here to talk about enlightened partnerships. Well. We are not enlightened. Let's just make one thing clear.
Right. We're not enlightened.
We are bringing enlightened conversation and maybe insight into conscious relationships.
Yes.
How do we do relationship?
How do we do relationship?
To where we are connected and in love and there's a flow, but that also has that higher level of the sense of the sacred.
Yeah.
And maybe the higher purpose.
Absolutely. The higher purpose is really important. Yeah. So one of the things that has become most apparent to me is that when we commit to the level of intimacy for the path of enlightened partnership, we're actually also making an agreement that we're really going to show up and that we're going to be open to looking at ourselves and taking responsibility. Because in a conscious relationship, it brings up things from the unconscious. So in this crucible of intimacy, there's no longer any back doors. The back doors that were the things that you have been able to avoid thus far in your life are up. If you're on a conscious path and you're wanting to evolve, and transformation is part of what you were here to do in this lifetime. So in this holy connection, it's like both people take responsibility for their shortcomings and grow into the healthier states of consciousness. The best we can hope for in our partner is is someone who's willing to show up and do this wild dance, and be open to the level and the depth that perhaps
You're
you've
wanting me
never
to do it.
experienced.
You're wanting me to do a wild dance for you?
I want you to do a wild dance for me.
Okay.
Anyway,
But
so-
you have to do it too.
okay.
So
All right. Game on. That but to be open to levels that you haven't perhaps never experienced before. And I'm going to say, it requires you, it requires work. It requires attention. It's not like, oh, we're together, just about 18 months now. But, we can't just like go to sleep, and we have check-ins. If something comes up, we bring it we have times that we actually bring things up, and it's almost like what do you call it? Psychological psychological hygiene. And I'm going to say psycho-spiritual hygiene, because we look at it all on all these different levels. But we don't bypass the psychological. That's one thing I really want to stress. I've done that. And so we're very much into owning responsibility, and in a sense, coming to a higher level, or if you want to say transcending, but not ignoring the psychological aspect, the psyche, which is unfortunately is pretty common on the spiritual path.
yes. Yeah, so that's been something that we've been, sort of very grateful for, our ability to work through the conflicts and challenges and the disconnections that can sometimes come up, especially in the early stages of a relationship. There's the romance stage where everything is amazing and exciting, and yet there's also, it's like two very different people coming together. And how do you come together, especially at our age?
That's true. Like you were saying, two tectonic plates. Like it's because you have a history. I mean,
So it's like two tectonic plates that are we have a life of our own that are so massive, and then how do you come together? Sometimes they collide, sometimes they rub, but then you ultimately settle in. And that's what we've spent a lot of time working on. And so this idea of the bonding process.
Yeah.
And so, or also called in the psychological field, attachment. And so this is a process that is very human and very elemental for us as humans. And we understand this from the way that a parent, or particularly a mother, relates to an infant. That there is this bonding process that is absolutely essential, and that is part of the survival process of a newborn coming into the world and making sure that it's connected and safe, and not just left out there in the woods to be eaten. And so this bonding process has to do with being emotionally attuned to each other, and responsive, especially empathically responsive to each other. That when something comes up, that if there's a charge, if there's a trigger, that the other person provides this quality of attention that is simply, I want to know what you're saying. I want to know what your experience is. And we use a whole technique that we work with that's called mirroring. And that is a fundamental component of this attachment process. And it's been really helpful for us. And and as we secure our relationship, and as we sort of work out the kinks, for the most part, we've had some big things that we've had to work through, and there will be more. But at this point, things are relatively smooth. So there's a really good flow of love that we have between us. And that's, of course, the big thing, is the love, the shared values, the shared experiences, the adoration we have for each other, and that then also opens a door to the spiritual
Right.
and allows us to engage in a spiritual process that is, I don't know if you might call it a higher dimension to a relationship. I think of psychology and spirituality as being two sides of the same coin. You can't really separate the two. The two are intertwined. We have to work our psyche, and yet the spirituality is so important.
Yeah.
And that you cannot just depend on the psychic work and the psychological work. And yeah.
Yeah. The other piece, when, just getting into bringing in the, because you gave a great basis for the psychological, right? And the spiritual, just a little bit of history, backstory is we came together as friends first. And we had done an event with Christine Michaels for Easter, and we gave a talk on Sophia, which is the feminine, I'll say the feminine face of God. So we knew each other and respected each other, and I said this the other night. In the first take, I was like, I just adored Dan. I adored him, and I still do. And I respect him.
And it was very mutual.
Yeah.
I had a tremendous amount of respect for Diana.
Yeah.
And the work she was doing and the high quality, high vibrational quality of energy work she was doing in those events.
Yeah. Thank you.
In case I never told you that before.
Yeah, you have. So we came to this with a dedication. So we're really blessed in the sense that we've had the friendship and the respect and the adoration from the get-go, and
a friendship prior to coming into a romantic relationship has
Right.
been really helpful.
Yeah, it really has. And I've always heard that that's a good thing, but have never experienced it. So now I have, and I really agree. It's, it is a blessing in many ways.
Not everybody can have that, of course.
Right, right. But we've experienced that. So one of the things that we also, besides that, is that we are blessed with a very common spirituality. I mean, our spirituality, which is pretty unique. And we do share that. So one of the things that we do as a conscious, if you want to say enlightened partnership, is we bring Sophia in as for guidance and to overlight our relationship. In the beginning, I was given some real nudging and some real guidance on how to handle the relationship. For example, I was told initially to let Dan lead, and I didn't really have access to all the reasons why that would be important, but it became obvious.
So this is the consciousness coming through Diana that she identifies as Sophia.
Yes.
Sort of the higher octave of Mary, you might say, who is telling her, let Dan take the lead role, at least in the beginning.
At least in the beginning.
Because the poor man used to feel like he's got something going here.
That's not what she said, but anyway. But it did become apparent how important that was in our particular coming together. And I'm just using that as an example, but she has continued to overlight our relationship. I tune in regularly to make sure that I'm, we're moving in the right direction, or there might be a certain thing that needs to be attended to or handled in a certain way. And
little course corrections along the way.
Corrections, yeah.
And by the way, I'm not still leading. We're equal partners in this. It was just she needed. It was very amazing wisdom to give me the sense that because I'm sort of not used to it, where I can feel like I have authority or agency, self-agency in the relationship. I don't have to give agency up in the relationship.
Right.
And we both have it.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think, and that's important to both of us. But I think for me, I was kind of like, well, of course, but you were very much stressing that because you were, wanting, there's there really is the only way that the relationship can work. We're both whole, complete people coming together. And that's was really important to you, for both of us to keep our own power, our own individuality,
and not just get lost in each other.
Yeah. Although that can happen. No.
Yeah. So, and it's it's regular upkeep and course correction, and we've had some really good help and guidance from this voice and this guide regarding especially our work together, and that's been really good. So yeah, and
I do have some things that are very basic but important. We talk. We remember to be humble, to go deep, to get real, to evolve, to do what we have to do to move forward without the shadow of our past, to embrace vulnerability, to lead. And we do take turns leading at this point. To be the safe space for each other, and to celebrate our sensuality and sexuality.
Yay.
Yay. Yay.
So Diana has been blessed to have been guided by this Indian sage who brought to her the womb chakra teachings.
Yes.
And part of that was a chant.
Yeah. So Sri Kalishwar, I just want to acknowledge him. He brought these ancient teachings forward that were, written on palm leaves, and only up until maybe 20 years ago, maybe less.
How old are these palm leaves?
7 to 10,000 years old. They date them at, and up until this point, they were only given to the saints and sages of India. And then at this time, they are now available in the West and to people that are just regular people. So I was fortunate enough to go to one of the first trainings, official trainings in 2018. And one of these chants that is part of this is called Vishva Shakti Avaham. And the chant is for the masculine and feminine to come together and to use it for something that they want to create together, to use it with intention for a project, a book, to bring in a high divine child. But that's the concept. So we're going to use that chant here. And it's very simple. Vishva Shakti Avaham. And that's
so I've created the music for this, various instruments. I work with looping. And so we invite you to chant along with us. But also, know that this is a recording that I will mix for this, for our little talk. And I think I'll put a couple of images. This image behind us, by the way, is it's the north rose window at Chautra. And we might think of that as the womb of the mother, of the divine mother. And And then there's also Sri
Kalishwar.
Karlishwar, his image of the womb chakra of the Divine Mother. And maybe I'll mix those two together as we bring you this music. Thanks for hearing us, or thanks for being here. And we're so grateful for Christy and for being able to be
absolutely.
here.
It was a wonderful opportunity, wonderful panel. And I did want to mention our coaching. Right.
But also, and it was really wonderful to be a part of this with Scott and Deborah.
Yes.
And with Heather and Donnie and in Hawaii.
And Scott and Deborah.
Yeah. And then the panel
afterwards.
And,
oh my gosh.
Kalina and Jan.
Santon and Joel and Jan and Rick and
Eliyahu
and Michelle. Oh my gosh. It was a wonderful, very, very rich community.
It's wonderful to be here.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're launching our sacred relationship coaching practice, and we will actually include the link a link to that page so that we can access our information if you so desire.
Yes. And
all right.
Okay.
Very good. Okay.
Absolutely. Wonderful.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Shakti
Thank you so much for doing that. That was beautiful. I really appreciate your giving us that opportunity to experience that direct transmission that you as a couple give to people on a regular basis. So blessings to you all. Thank you so much. And now we're going to go into our conversation and have a chance to see what our beloved friends in our beloved community have to say about these topics and these ideas. Thank you so much.
Keep it. So that's fine. Yeah. So, all right. Does everybody did they understand the question? I'll take all answers. Did it make sense?
What is the question?
I didn't fully get the question, but
Okay.
I want to I want to take a moment just to acknowledge the beauty that you're here, Reverend Jeffrey, because you lost your partner recently. And so I just, you can rephrase the question so we get it, but I also want to acknowledge the beauty that you're attending an Enlightened Partners event, online class group, having lost your beloved last year. I just want to acknowledge the beauty of that.
And the question, very simple, is how can you keep your relationship open to expand out and to love folks without it being restricted by whatever jealousy or needs of each other? In other words, how does Deborah or whoever else is getting the needs when you have someone who is so expansive in their ability to express love to a community?
Well, I think it's very, very easy. I can feel what the physicists have been always saying, that we are toroidal fields, right? The more we give, the more we get back. So, just by basically reminding each other to just be. We are spreading out so much love, and then you attract so many people who just get it, and then they give out much more, and then we are in this toroidal field. The more we give, the more we get, and there's nothing else we can do. It's actually getting more difficult to not be like that, right?
That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
In our relationship, I feel supported to be encouraged to come out in the world and share. And I feel like what I have to give him is a part of my love nature, and what he has to give me is that male doing dynamic energy, and that combination is like we're here to teach each other what we have in our own nature that will help us be more impactful and more powerful in the world. I feel like when I'm more out there, it will be because of his support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I just want to give a shout out for Jan Jorgensen and Rick, who've joined us as well. And Jan has written a book on the guy's guide to the divine feminine to help the guys out.
Oh, I love
as women grow into their more accepting their divine nature, which has totally rocked my world. When I finally got to a place where I allowed myself to come forward as my divine self and bring that energy, oh man, everything got more fun and uplifted, and community emerged, and it's just been glorious. So so does anyone have any other?
Yeah, I'd just like to speak to what Jeffrey asked, because my partner, my beloved Andrew, we've been together 21 years in May and married for 18. And he and I used to share the stage together when we were hoop dancers and fire dancers together, and he didn't mind that. And now he really just wants to be behind the camera. And so I'm the forward-facing person that is out in the community and creating events and retreats and speaking and all these things. And I'm generating community around us, and they're coming to our retreat center now. And he is my support. He's my grounding rod. He's my backbone. He's literally in the house cooking right now because I've been online and doing things all day since 8 a.m. because it's 222 portal day. And those portal days are big days for us in our family. So he's the masculine that's in service to the divine feminine. And I honor him for that. And he receives just as much love because it's coming through me from the community to him and then cycling again, as Deborah was saying, the toroidal field. Yeah.
Excellent. And Santon and Joel, they're my backbone. They're my enlightened partners. They have just really supported me and encouraged me and helped me to bring this, what is so near and dear in my heart of what I want to see. I want to see more of couples like you guys who are really trying and being at the edge and making the inquiry. So Jan, I want to give a shout out to you. Do you want to share anything? I know Rick's more your behind the scenes backbone guy, but we'd love to hear from you. Hi, Rick.
Diana, when you said that we are emerging as queens, I feel the women taking their throne, and I feel the partners fluffing it and helping us be comfortable in these new roles that we never imagined we'd be in. And I'm transforming before my eyes, and he's watching me transform, and we're all having to move the puzzle pieces and let the divine feminine lead. So I applaud all of us that we're galvanizing that this truly is the correct thing to do at this time. And I'm over being scared. I don't even care what people think anymore. Even what he thinks of me. We have work to do, and we will do it. And we love and appreciate the men that make us better. And Rick constantly helps me be better. He provides for me at the highest queenly form you can imagine. And sometimes I have to pinch myself. Plus, he has this big loving teddy bear heart. He really is a complete package. We've walked a lot of tight paths together, readjusting to all that is. But I'm just here to say we're going to make it. And the minute I came on the screen, my heart just opened. I said, these are my people. This is my tribe. And the Queen's Caravan will be there.
Yes, she's coming to Anastara's
May
community.
15th at Anastara's. And we're going to circle up and continue this vibrational flow that is so correct. And I do love to talk, so I'll be on mute.
Okay.
Love you all so much.
Michelle and Eliyahu, you want to put your thoughts in? You live two love bugs that have been around forever.
Sure. Hi, it's great to be with you all and appreciate the love and the wisdom that's being shared and questions being raised. And before it's over, I want to ask Dan and Diana, what do you all do when the irritations come up and the judgments come up? What kinds of tools do you use to help you through that? In the meantime, before we get there, I'd like to say that I just so love and appreciate Michelle, and I feel very grateful to be her husband and her journey partner. Anytime we're riding down a river, sometimes we come across the rapids and the shoals, and we've certainly been through our share of those, and find ourselves amongst those rapids and shoals right now, and it's a challenging time. And at the same time, we're also realizing that we are each whole beings, and that we come together to love and to be mirrors for each other and to make a contribution to the world. And that's actually that love of coming together, and also making the contribution, being mirrors and growth partners, is, I think, what really opens the channel for divine flow to come in, illuminate, and raise us in consciousness and vibration, and be able to make that contribution, each in our own ways and together. And Michelle has taken the public lead and is really out there much more than I am now. I think part of that might be because I'm 8 years older than she is, 8.5 years older. And we're in different phases of life periods. And that's something that we're working with, and I think are going to work with, I hope, consciously more. So I think that's what I need to say right now, would like to say, and I want to give you the opportunity to share what you want to share.
I think one of the things I've noticed that hasn't been brought up, and what I really noticed with Eliyahu, first I want to say, when we got together, this man knew how to honor the divine feminine. He was really, really well versed in honoring the priestess and the goddess, and he had a lot of experience with that already when I met him. And I think that is one of the things that really struck me about him, that I felt so honored and so adored and so appreciated and so beloved, and just he held me up and looked up to me, and he honored everything when we first met, I was so surprised at how much he honored and respected everything I am and everything my heart expresses. And it was the first time I had experienced that from a male, where I felt that kind of upliftment and deep respect. And that was really important. And many of you have seen Eliyahu also do the priest ceremony as a Magdalene Knight with the sword. And so he is ordained as a Magdalene Knight in two different lineages, right? Is that correct?
Magdalene Knight, and then a Knight of the Noble Order of Tara.
Yeah, so
Irish.
he has gone through the process of bringing forth his knighthood in such an amazing way. And that's what really struck me. And then the other part that really struck me was, of course, how deeply spiritual he is, and how our spirits came together. And Deborah, I loved what you said about the infinity, because I think we felt that, like, his heart, my heart, his heart, my heart. And we danced in that way, with his infinity and my infinity, and the fact that he was so expansive in that infinite way with spirit, that what occurred when we came together was our lights shine together, and together we were able to express spirit to the world in a beautiful way. People saw this, and people really saw how our light was shining and how we were an expression of the divine spiritual light together, and yet we were both so strong in ourselves. This is our third marriage. And so, we have definitely had some practice, and we made some agreements when we first got together that we're still working on of, how are we going to do this when such and such happens that we know occurs in relationships, which is not so healthy. And so how do you work on those things? And the third thing that I want to bring up is the other thing that was so incredibly prominent to me, because, well, I'll just say, is the dance of yin and yang. Because, you know, just because you're in a female body doesn't mean you're all yin, and just because you're in a male body doesn't mean you're all yang. And there's a dance of yin and yang, and that's what I loved about him when I saw him, was how we could move through the energies of yin and yang, and we both had both. Like, he would be very yin, I'd be very yang, and then vice versa. And we were able to really permeate the having nothing to do with born in a male body, born in a female body, but you know what so many kids these days are talking about, gender fluid. And we have both been gender fluid for a long, long time. And long before we met each other. I mean, I would say for a lot of my life, I felt more like a male than a female. And, you know, even though I'm in a woman's body, doesn't mean I feel like, you know, specifically female, etc. And so that's what I love about how we have been able to dance together, is that we ride the waves of gender fluidity.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to just add that I really feel that there's a beautiful balance within Michelle of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And that in a situation, one of those takes the lead, and then in other situations, the other takes the lead within her and comes to the fore. And that's also true for me. Sometimes we don't recognize that balance and what's coming to the fore is coming to the fore from spirit. And we get caught up in our judgments about whether one of us is being masculine enough or one of us is being feminine enough. And so we get to work through that. I just feel that that's part of the process too. And it's grist for the mill, so to speak.
Well, I think this brings back to your question that you put, and I would love for Santone and Joel, who have spoken to and I know are passionate about the tools they use in their relationship to keep this infinity of heart-to-heart connection going. You guys want to share what's up for you, or what you've been illuminated to in this conversation?
Thank you. Thank you for including us. Want to share something?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, you know, when our relationship started, I can say that thanks to Jan Jorgensen at that time, she had the wisdom to see there was an enlightened person in the room who was very interested in Santon. And I had come to that place in my life where I had erased the board of all possibilities. I just kind of said, what will be, will be. All right. And I have no expectations, zero. And I started from zero. I literally started my life by giving everything away. And you're probably all thinking this guy is a nutcase. But I did. I gave away just about every worldly belonging that I had. And I wanted to start over. And that was quite a bit, because I had accumulated a lot. And I had gone into a deep phase in my life to meditate and try to understand who I am. And I didn't have a good image of myself, honestly, in the beginning. But I did want to say that it took a big rework of everything. I had 10 years of sobriety. I'd given up drinking altogether. I had many, many changes about myself. And I thought of myself as I did not think of myself as an enlightened guy. I just thought of myself as a failure in almost every relationship. But it helped me to start from zero. So that when I came to a class in meditation that Santon offered, it was like just open eyes like a baby to witness what people were like. And from the very first hug that Santon gave me, I felt electricity going through my body. And it was like, wow, whoever she is married to must be one lucky guy. And
Yeah.
for 8 months of taking classes from her, I began to witness what prayer can do for anything you want in life and meditation. So our whole relationship started from spirituality. And when it finally came to a realization that we might have a chance at having a relationship together, it started from no expectations other than I'm in 100%, not 50%, not 25. It was not a 50-50 relationship. It was 100%. And I have said to Santon from the very beginning, every good relationship is like a 5-star hotel. And every 5-star hotel has a doorman. And not a doormat, a doorman. So we have certain rules, and mine is that I'm the doorman. And as you know, Christy, I'm the doorman at the events. I have lots of experience as a doorman. So I open the door. I open the door to the car, and we have this agreement that she doesn't get out of the car until I open the door. Now you're all probably thinking, this is kind of a weird guy. What's that all about? What's it about is that I look at our relationship. When I hold Santon, I'm not holding just Santon, but I'm holding a Stradivarius. And I use that analogy because I read some of the books by Gary Smalley on relationships. And one of the things that he talked about was he handed a Stradivarius to an audience that he was teaching one time and had everybody pass it along. So everybody had a chance of holding the Stradivarius. And he asked everybody, what do you think of the Stradivarius? Or he didn't say Stradivarius. What do you think of that violin? And they're all like, oh, it's a violin. And then he says, no, it's not a violin. It's a Stradivarius. And then you had this, this immediate aha. And that's how I look at relationships, that your partner is a Stradivarius. And that's how I feel. So I put 100% into our relationship. And I have to say, I change certain dialogue, certain words. Like when it's time to do the dishes, I say, I get to do the dishes tonight. Or I get to clean the garage, or I get to take the garbage out. Not I have to, I get to. So everything in our relationship is I get to. We have no have tos in our relationship. There's zero have tos.
That's good. I like it. I like it.
So what I'm saying is those are some of the tools we use. But I will tell you, if anybody ever sees us together, I don't walk ahead, nor do I walk behind. I walk holding her hand because she's my Stradivarius.
They're good. They're working on it.
So that's what I think it's a lot. It only has gotten better. In the 10 years we've known each other, it's just gotten better every single day.
Like
and
good wine.
I have somebody who squeals and runs down and still hugs me and still likes me. That's what it's about. She likes me. Hey, Mikey, she still likes you.
Well, that's a friendship for you. That's the part that Diana and Dan were talking about.
Yeah, so I'm going to stop talking and chatting. I've already talked too much. That's me. You asked a salesman to talk, and that's your first mistake.
I know we haven't heard from Darren yet, so I want to shout out to our healer.
I just want to chime in though, just
okay.
To wrap it up.
And then you can pass it to Darren. Go ahead, Santon. Go ahead.
I just want to echo what some of you have shared, and Diana and Dan, about the friendship piece, because when I first met Joel, I was his teacher, and I don't date my students. So I had to just, keep showing up, being present, and allow the process to unfold. And then, but before I knew it was Joel, I was knowing I was ready, and I was praying. I said, okay, God, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to meet him. And I already knew him, but I didn't know he was the one. And it was a surrender for me. And I'm just going to say this one thing, and I'm happy to elaborate on it later or another time. But Jesus was our matchmaker. And there's a whole story about that that was utterly magical. That was utter magic and a miracle. And I had no idea who it was, but I started to get some clues. And Jesus is one of my guides. And so I was in communication with him, and it's really very funny. There's a lot of funny, charming things about our relationship and how we got together. But this is a God thing. And I just asked to recognize it. And then when I got the message, it is him, I just surrendered and said yes and accepted him. And the rest is history. There's more juicy details to share, but it is a God thing, and it's extremely sacred and special. So when you find the one and I asked Spirit to help me validate by showing me a sign, and I got 2 profound signs. And then I just got it, and I quit resisting, and I just accepted. And really, the rest is history. We just keep going. It's an amazing journey. So just want to share that.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. And Darren, and then we're going to have Anastara talk.
Okay. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. And this is so rich to listen to the depth and the reality of what everybody's saying. And I'm learning a lot of good tips here. When I was young, I'm like still a teenager, I moved into a spiritual ashram with a guru in Boulder, Colorado, in which I was living celibately and, sharing all our possessions and our food. I went to India and did this whole thing when I was very young. And I also thought, what would it be like to have to live in an ashram that would include an intimate partner? You forget the celibacy and all that, but what would this evolve to? I feel like I'm living in one right now. We talk about this a lot. And what that means to me is an ashram is a sacred place of spiritual work, spiritual like growth and awakening. And I have this total certainty that every experience that's happening to me is the divine directly, personally communicating with me. And one of the most direct ways is through this beautiful woman who is now called Karina. She actually changed her name from Karen to Karina because Karen was too small of a container for her beautiful goddess spirit. So, basically all the things that happen. And what I noticed with Karina is that we have such a playfulness and we enjoy so many things together, like hiking and making pizza and music and dancing and adventures and things. And then there's the part that could be a little frictional, where she is pulling me past my resistance and my heart center to like opening much more past my comfort zone, and I'm dragging her. So it feels like at times to like take all this great output of the book she's written and all the stuff she's done and get it out in the world and go out of her comfort zone in that. And so there's a bit of a friction. And then there's all this like love and fun. And I just feel this is the ashram, man. This is it. This is the way God said it. God and God has set it up. And I'm so grateful to be in this ashram with you.
Darren, are you saying that you feeling like a teenager again? Is that what's going on?
I never stopped feeling. That's the problem. I never stopped feeling like a teenager. My hair got a little grayer and I have more responsibility. But yes.
Oh, good. Thanks so much, Darren. And Anastara, please.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity to share. I really wish my beloved Andrew was sitting right next to me. He's such a precious man. And short story, he and I fell in love at first sight. And he was living in Portland and I was in LA, and I kidnapped him and took him to LA. And then ultimately he kidnapped me and we moved to Northern California. And through our relationship, there's definitely, how you were saying earlier about the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine. He's got a really feminine side, and me as a business owner and a leader have a very masculine side as well. And so we balance each other out really well. But we also find, not but, and we also find that we trade shoes. So there might be something that he wants from me and I can't give it to him, and he's really upset about it. And then 2 years later, the whole thing is turned over and I'm wearing his shoes and I get to see it. And that's what that divine reflection is. And we went through a really difficult part of our relationship right before lockdown. And we were on the verge of divorce without using the word divorce in front of our son. We were really challenged with the blame, shame, and criticism cycle. And we were just constantly in it. And we were so deep in it that we couldn't even see. We couldn't see the larger perspective, the bird's eye view of our relationship, because we were so immersed in being hurt and all the things that we were doing to each other.
Yeah, below the line.
Yeah, yeah. And so we went to a friend's wedding, and there we met Peter Sterling, and he had a book called Argue Less, Love More. And we agreed while we were driving home from the wedding that we would read the book. And so we read the book. And then at the end of the book, we agreed, let's go to Landmark Forum and do the curriculum for life. And we did that. And we went through the communications course. And then we joined Eden World. I don't know if you know about it, but edenworld.org. It's a conscious couples community where we hold our coupleship together. There's the 12 principles of Eden. Several of them are what's in the way is the way, and seeing it all the way through. And relationship is your North Star, and we all are beloveds. And instead of trying to hold it together, we hold it together as a community. And so being a part of this community and their online events and their live events, we really began to take personal responsibility for the parts that we were each contributing to our relationship. And it just completely transformed. We had a relationship coach for 3 years. And about 6 months ago, we said, you know what? We're good. I don't know if we need your services anymore, because we are now such a team and so connected in deep ways that he supports me, I support him. And it's all about just uplifting ourselves. And there isn't any of that blame, shame, and criticism. He can walk in the door and be really upset about something, and I won't take it personally anymore. It's really beautiful. We've really come into a beautiful place in our relationship. And because we've been together so long, we actually have friends that come to us for advice. And he's wonderful about talking about our relationship and what we've gone through. So anyhow, those are one of the tools that I really like to use is the 4 pillars of an apology. I'm sorry I fucked up. Please forgive me. What can I do to make it better? We also love doing 5 minutes of anything. So, honey, what can I do for you? 5 minutes of anything. He's like, can you massage my feet? And it just gives us a moment to do an energy exchange, whatever the other is in need of or wants. And then also just moments of appreciation. My love language is words of affirmation. And so he'll come to me and say, honey, what would you like to be acknowledged for today? And I'll tell him point blank exactly what I would be acknowledged for, and then he'll reflect it back to me. So those are some of our favorite tools that we like to play with.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you have an awesome retreat center. You guys all have to go by and see what they've built. They've got an incredible geodesic dome, and they're building an intentional conscious village, right? I mean, you have such a beautiful vision with what you're doing.
Thank you. It's really exciting. It's called Joy Oasis. It's above Occidental in Northern California. And right now it's just our private home, and we open it for events, but eventually we do want permanent residents who are here with us and creating gardens together and all kinds of things. So
Right.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak, Christy.
Thank you, Anastar.
Go get some food. He's like, maybe.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All right. So we're getting close to the end here. And Diana and Dan, if you want to give any last minute comments, and Scott and Deborah afterwards, then we'll wrap it up with the famous dance of Dan and Karina.
I just wanted to. I'm noticing that there's this idea of the shared mission. That that there's all the couples here. We seem to be coming together for some greater purpose. And I think that's beautiful to have that in a relationship. And so in a sense, it's a form of devotion and surrendering the personal ego to something greater than ourselves, not only to our couple, but to the greater mission, the greater purpose. And so I just wanted to name that. And thank you so much, Christy.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Dan, for saying that.
Yes.
Perfect.
Any last words, Diana?
No, it's just been wonderful, and I've gotten some tips too.
Yes. Yes, it's fabulous.
Yes.
Wow, what a great little meeting of the minds and the hearts.
And the hearts.
Yes.
I agree that the most important thing is that shared vision.
Yeah. That's the juice.
I agree.
It keeps us going. I mean, we're always up to something, and I love it,
Yeah, I agree. And it is, just so much the heart and soul of this. At one point, Michelle and I were doing divine masculine, divine feminine workshops, and we thought we would be doing that forever. And then there was a shift to us doing things, contributing more in the realm that I was in, and Michelle contributing more in the realm that she was in. And then we were looking at, well, we're not living the vision that we had. And so we're in this transition point of coming to realize perhaps that however Spirit wants to move through us is the way that Spirit wants to move through us. So thanks so much for what you're sharing. Really appreciate what all you've shared.
Yeah. And Scott and Deborah, do you have any closing thoughts that you want to share?
Oh, thank you so much. First of all, I would really love to acknowledge and appreciate and expressing my gratitude for each and everyone here. Everybody is just so beautiful. Everything that was shared tonight is so precious, and you're all glowing so much love and so much consciousness behind every word that has been said. So thank you very, very much for this wonderful evening and this very beautiful show. Christy, this is just, I was just a pure joy from the first second to the last. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And maybe finally what I would just also like to quote what our beloved Dan was saying. In France, there's Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, who is the author of The Little Prince, who probably who has said, from whom the quote comes, you cannot what matters is not what you see with your eyes, but what you see with your heart, right? And he has said love is not to look at each other, but always to look together into the same direction. And I feel that if we know what we want, where we're heading to, and which is ultimately to get away, to get ourselves out of the way, because we know we already the love, right? That only our thoughts are really in the way. Then, and that we just really always just there to reflect that, to bring us back to what we already are. And if this is the vision that we both have, then in the end, love will always win.
Yes, love will always win. All right. Thank you so much. And Scott?
My final words are two words: radical acceptance.
Yeah.
I believe that that's the foundation on which growth can actually take place. All of us are growth oriented. We all are, obviously, we established that enlightened partnership doesn't mean that you've made it. It means that this is what we're committed towards, moving towards. And that foundation of radically accepting everything that's happened in the past and who we are right in the present moment, from that place, then we can feel safe to agree on what we want to change, what we want to work on, or what direction we want to head into. So that's my final thought.
Thank you.
And
And
looking at each other's eyes, that is also always very powerful.
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who joined us and came on. I'm so grateful. I love doing this kind of thing. I love having these deeper conversations with people who are willing to be real and authentic, and I hope it was valuable for you. Please let me know how we can help. Everybody is Dan and Diane are launching their coaching program, right? What are you calling it?
Yeah, we just put up the link, and it's sacred relationship coaching, and we bring in some of the tools that I work with in my counseling, and we combine it with the sacred work and the divine, masculine and feminine work that we've been doing.
Yes.
Right. And then Scott, everybody, if you're not already joined the Global Peace Tribe, you got to go and join the Global Peace Tribe, because every Wednesday, Saturday, and sometimes more, there's an awesome show like this type of show, but even more so because he keeps doing it and doing it and doing it. Scott, of course, does the Love Coach Academy. You're still working with couples, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're two different couples today.
He's probably seen everything that can come down the pike and then some. Well, that was quite a conversation, wasn't it? And I really appreciated everybody's joining and all the shares that happened. So now the thank yous. Thank you to everyone who contributed to this, and those people behind the scenes like Santon de la Vie and Joel Hoffman, who've been helping me bring this work forward. Deborah Giusti, who helped get it expressed throughout and did some of the marketing for us. Anyway, we're very grateful. And next we have coming up, if you're interested in what we create, is the Magdalene Moonrise service, which will be on Easter, which is March 31st. And you can go onto my website, gospelofmarymagdalene.info. And on that website, you sign up for my newsletter, you'll get a free gift of one of my most popular webinars, which was called Dr. Joe Dispenza Meet Mary Magdalene, where I outline how the scientists and the people that Dr. Joe Dispenza is working with, the universities and the Heart Math Institute, have documented what Mary Magdalene's experience was as an enlightened person in her step-by-step journey that allowed her to become the enlightened one that we have all grown to know and love her as. So anyway, very grateful to you. And then you'll get the announcements of the upcoming events that hundreds of people come. And it's a chance for us to all enter a field of love and celebrate one of the greatest masters on the planet, the divine feminine wisdom keepers like Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all, and thank you for supporting our work. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Very important, helps us with our videos. So thank you all. Blessings. Thank you. Blessed be. So
Thank you.
it's messy, right? That's what that's what that's what enlightened
Messy.
community and enlightened partnerships are. It's messy. But
Yeah.
we're all here. We're all loving on each other and we're all supporting each other in raising our vibration, right? And so we're really grateful. So Sylvia, help raise the vibration to a whole new healing level. You take it out, dear.
So I'm gonna ask folks to join me in chanting Om. We can experiment with several people being unmuted if you want, or you can mute yourself. And as I do that, the offering is these rainbow butterflies, and they carry with them the healing and holding and the blessing from the folks that were gathered at the meditation tonight. And we especially raised Scott up in maximum grace, knowing that he was sick and that it was hard for him to have the energy and the voice to be here tonight. So that's Om. Om. The blessing is these butterflies, and the energies from meditation tonight, where we lifted up this gathering and Scott in maximum grace and healing, holding, knowing that he was sick and it might be a challenge. And so I offer them to all of us in our relationships in this community, in the challenges and the blessings and the golden thread that weaves us all together. Om. 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 Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. Good night, everybody. Much love, much
Good night,
blessing.
everybody. God bless you.
Thank you
Maximum
all for
grace.
coming on and being a great, great community of love.
I enter this moment, I focus my will, I open my consciousness, breathing, I am still, breathing, I am still. I dedicate this body, I dedicate this place, a vessel for holiness, surrender to grace, I surrender to grace. Forgiving the past, relinquish the future, I choose this moment, I choose love, I choose love.